host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live once again from the 704 for episode 78 of the 815 Exchange, which you could also call, you could call this episode a couple different things. It is the last episode with me at 20 years old, so technically it's kind of a milestone episode. You could also call this episode another episode of me being Nostradamus. Because, the NFL happened and, I posted on my social medias, which, by the way, are in the description, along with timestamps. So if you want to skip to the NFL section for today, or maybe you want to hear me talk about everything that happened in TV with entertainment, or whatever it is, you want to skip the intro and go to college basketball, timestamps and my social medias are in the description. And like I said, I posted it on my story yesterday or last night. And I told you so. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, remember to like, share, and subscribe. As always, if you are enjoying the content. And ladies and gentlemen, we got basketball back in full effect. We got some stuff to talk about in basketball. But like I said, it was another week in the NFL, but we'll get to that. But we're gonna start off not with one of the professional sports. If we don't have mixed martial arts or combat sports this week, we're gonna start off with college basketball. Purdue and Ohio State squared off yesterday, not on Saturday, which is normally when the big games. But yesterday we had the delight of getting a Sunday Big Ten matchup of two ranked teams. Two teams have been very good this year, in Purdue and Ohio State. But I will say Purdue continues to confuse me. I don't know how to feel about this team. I do not know how to feel about this Purdue team. Now, they got the win 81-78 over Ohio State in this game, in large part to Jaden Ivey, but also to the fact that Jaden Ivey hit a game-winning 3 in this game. But it's been an interesting college basketball season, and you'll see it throughout the games that I list. But it's just been a very, very interesting college basketball season. It looks like it's going to be another chaotic year. In my opinion, I think it's going to be another chaotic year in the NCAA tournament because Auburn, they held it down. Don't get it wrong. Auburn held it down yet again another week, but it just seems like all of the teams that are supposed to be at that top tier are susceptible to getting beat. I don't think there's any team that looks like they're invulnerable right now, besides Auburn a little bit. But it seems like every single team has multiple areas that can be exploited by a multitude of teams. It just looks like I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. But Purdue survives Ohio State. Ivy had 21 along with the game winner. For Ohio State, the freshman Malachi Branham, I think he's going to be a great player for OSU. Came from St. Vincent St. Mary's. Branham had 20. E.J. Liddell was phenomenal in this game. Had the go-ahead, it was to tie the game 20 seconds prior to Ivy's game winner. He's been great this year. He has been great, definitely in the contention. Probably in contention for National Player of the Year, if we're being honest. Liddell's been fantastic. He had 20 points in this game also. But Jaden Ivey, Zach Edney, able to get it done. They're the dynamic duo for Purdue. And when they're on, they're going to be a very, very tough team to beat. But Ivey also, he had that 20 off the bench. 21 off the bench and the game winner. Ivey needed this redemption game, and so did Purdue. Bama and Baylor. We were singing their praises, 3 weeks ago? They were looking like the team. Scott Drew's defense and just the overall toughness of that team was once again prevailing, but my, it hasn't been a pretty last 3 weeks for Baylor as they lose yet again as Alabama, it seems to be the giant killers this year, a third top 4 win this year, which I think is the most in I forget how many years. But Alabama had fallen out of the rankings. If you're wondering why we hadn't mentioned Bama, I think they were almost a top 10 team at one point in time. May have been a top 10 point team when we were talking about them earlier in the season, but had fallen kind of to the wayward. But the guard play showed up this game. Shackelford, 19-9-5. Filled up the stat sheet, did everything you could have asked for him, scored the ball well. JQ was on, he had 20, led everybody in scoring. J.D. Davison, the highly vaunted 5-star prospect, off the bench in this game, 14 points. Baylor, it wasn't your worst game. We've seen it. It wasn't your worst loss. But Yeah, I think you're seeing the lack of. Akingino is a great player, don't get me wrong. But I think you're seeing a lack of a Jared Butler, a lack of a Davion Mitchell. They still have some of the role players in the supporting cast from that team, but they don't have that star, that true star or superstar that helped put that team and make that Baylor team so good last year. They don't seem to have that, and that's causing them issues, especially late in the game, in my opinion. We'll see if Akingino or whoever can rise, Kendall Brown, maybe the freshman, and see if he can rise to the top. But for now, they're susceptible, and they got clipped, and Bama's been clipping a lot of teams, as we said, third top 4 win. And yeah, guard play looking fantastic. We'll see if Bama can continue to be very deadly, and if they can get some semblance of consistency and get back into the rankings very soon. Kentucky and Kansas was the headline matchup of the week, though. Don't get it messed up. Two blue bloods, two the historically great programs in college basketball squared off, and well, Kentucky needed this. In the same way that Bama needed the win and Purdue needed their win, Kentucky needed, and I mean needed, to beat Kansas and pull off what I guess technically was an upset because Kansas was a top 5 team. Keon Brooks played the best game of his Kentucky career. The former 5-star has had an up and down tenure in Lexington, but on this Saturday, he looked worthy of the hype that he had coming into Lexington as well. 27 points. He was great. He was great. He looked phenomenal in this game, and him playing well. I'm not saying he's dropping 27 every game because that's just unrealistic, but him playing at a high level can help push this Kentucky team to the potential and to the areas that we haven't seen Kentucky hit in a long time, honestly, if we're being honest. It's been a while since they've had a true championship contender at UK. Even though they've always had the talents, they've been able to recruit like a madman, always, but haven't always had the results to back it up. If Keon Brooks can play like that veteran, be that presence, be almost a star on this team, that can push them to that next level, and they're going to need him to play like he did against Kansas here. Oscar Schwebe has been a beacon of consistency this entire season. One of the best big men in the country, and of course the best rebounder in the country. 17 and 14 for Oscar. He's going to smash whatever the rebounding record is. I mean, for a season, not for a career obviously, but for a season. Big O dominant again. Keon Brooks dominant in a surprise, but they're going to need that a lot going forward. Kansas, not the end of the world. You get clipped. Everybody's getting clipped. You want a much better game, though. You don't want to lose by 18 to a team that you're probably going to see and probably going to be around here in March. So, got some stuff to clean up for Kansas. Oche Ojibe has been fine this year, but need some other players to step up. But congrats to UK. Absolutely needed that win. Staying with basketball, we're going to go to the NBA. Yes, it's an early NBA segment this time. And we're gonna kick right off with the big news, right? I can't ignore it. The All-Star Conference, the All-Star starters came out. Okay, so in the East we got KD, Giannis, Joel Embiid, Trae Young, DeMar DeRozan. All right, no surprises. All very worthy All-Stars and All-Star starters at that. Okay, completely understandable. Even DeRozan, because DeRozan's been phenomenal for the Bulls this year. Western Conference. LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, and Ja Morant. One of these is not like the others. Andrew Wiggins is an all-star starter. Now, don't get me wrong, all right? I get it. Wiggs, Michael Jordan. I'm not going to call him Michael Jordan. Wiggins has been, he has played very good for the Warriors. He's been a great fit. And he's been hooping. Wiggins been hooping, all right? Andrew Wiggins has been hooping. He has not been hooping to the extent to which he should be an all-star starter. Absolutely, positively not. No, all right? This is possibly the crowning example of the fan vote being exploited. Now, there's nothing wrong with it because it's a fan vote. All right, the Warriors fans, and shout out to Bam Bam of God 7, because he's the one that helped push this and made this happen. Nothing wrong with what he did. He's a Warrior. He's on staff with the Warriors, by the way, as their global ambassador. He did exactly what he's supposed to do, and he got that engagement. He got those fans to vote Wiggins as an all-star starter. But we gotta either lessen. We can make the fan vote for the captains, right? That's what I think. I think the fan vote should be for who's the captains, all right, or lessen how much the fan vote counts. Because Andrew Wiggins, it's a conversation of whether he's an all-star or not. It shouldn't be a conversation of is he an all-star starter? Because he's not. All right, he's not. He's averaging like 18, 4, and 3, which isn't bad by any means. It's good and very good on the Warriors team. It's what they need. It's why they've been good this year. But he's not an all-star starter. All right, he's an all-star starter. I think we all agree on that. But speaking of two of the all-stars on each side of the pen, the big man is back. All right, the big man is back, and we're gonna start off with the lead MVP candidate. Joel Embiid has been on a tear. All right, Joel Embiid he's been looking like, and Shaq gave him his proud look because she's been looking like prime Shaq. All right, Embiid has been dominant, hands down, number one on any type of MVP radar. It better have Joel Embiid at number one right now. He's averaging in the last 10 games 35 points and 11 rebounds. 35. That's not a typo. That's not me making a mistake that I have to cut. No, he's averaging 35 points and 11 rebounds. Embiid is living up to what a lot of people thought he could be. Is how he's playing. And funny enough, it's without Ben Simmons. I don't know. Maybe that just wasn't working or whatever. But Embiid's he's been ridiculous. The most dominant player this year. And he can really only be challenged by another big man because, like I said, the big man is back. And over in the Western Conference, the reigning defending MVP has been doing reigning and defending MVP stuff. The Joker, Nikola Jokic. I'm gonna say he's averaging a triple-double over his last 10 as well. He's averaging 9.9 assists, which is basically 10. So we're gonna say he's averaging a triple-double, all right? 28, 13, and 10 for the Joker over the last 10. Jokic and Embiid have been ridiculous this year. I mean, it's just dominant. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see what they've been able to do. It's crazy to think it was like 5-6 years ago we were like, man, Dwight Howard's fallen off. We really don't have any great centers, truly great centers in this league. And they say time sometimes is like a cycle, you know. We had the era of dominant big man, and then we kind of gone into this like dominant guard position. And as the game has evolved, the big men evolved, and now they've evolved into some of the best players this league has to offer. And Embiid and Jokic are two shining examples of that, and they've been dominant. Two lead MVP candidates. We'll see if they can continue their dominance as we move on with the rest of the season. Now heading over to entertainment, and well, nothing happened in music. All right, nothing happened in music. I guess technically. Or was that last week? I don't remember. Ye may have dropped he said he was going to drop Roundup 2 February 22nd, 2022, but let's be honest. That would be beautiful. Beautiful if he did it. Just because, 2, that ain't happening, all right? If you think Kanye is releasing on February 22nd, you must be new here. You truly must be new here, because that's not happening. But absolutely nothing happened in music. We're still awaiting the Batman in almost a month. It's January 31st, last day of January. A month from my birthday is when that drops, so nothing happening in movies. So the entertainment segment falls all on TV this week. And well, that's not a problem, because I've been watching Industry. I actually got shown this show on HBO Max if you want to check it out. In my financial management class I'm taking right now, our professor, shout out to Professor Bush, she showed us a clip of it, and I was like, this looks like this might be pretty interesting. And well, I haven't finished them on the last episode, but it's good. It's already been renewed for a second season, so I'm looking forward to that. I don't think they got to film last year because of COVID or whatever, but it's supposed to have it coming out this year, so actually they may have been able to, I'm not sure. But anyway, second season is supposed to be coming out this year. Very good series. Very good series. Highly recommended. HBO Max. Pure Point, which is JP Morgan. Basically, it's basically a look into that kind of like finance world in England. And well, it's based in England. You've got a cast of different characters, all going through different things, and they're all like in this like stage that you go in through finance, where it's like a 6-month almost trial run, kind of like an internship in a way. You got this 6-month trial run before it's revealed whether you get the job or not, and you're competing against everybody else, all the other interns or workers or new workers, whatever you want to call them, recruits. And at the end of that 6-month period, you find out. And this show is kind of detailing everything that happens through that 6 months. Got a bunch of different stuff that happens. Very, very good. It's an HBO show, so you should be able to fill in the gap, especially when we talk about Euphoria and how we've talked about Euphoria on this show, or Game of Thrones. So you got the adult content, but overall, it's a good show. It's a good show. Highly recommend it. But let's talk about the stuff that's actually going on live, like Power, Book 2. Rick has been betrayed by every single woman he's ever loved. He's just like his daddy, man. He's just like his daddy, macking with D, but he's got Effie sleeping in his bed, and he's still got Lauren in love. It's just that, Reek has been moving mad, alright? Reek has been moving mad, and it all kind of came to a head on him this week, yet again. Effie's in love with that man. I thought she was gonna hook up with Kane for a second when she snitched to Kane about him being caught on the wire. But don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what she did with Lauren. See if Lauren is still alive. We're dealing with the effects of Carrie's suicide and Zeke, and kind of Mo and Dante. Dante being revealed as Mecca to Kane and Mo. It's just so much going on book 2. So much going on. Lorenzo versus Mecca coming up now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Lorenzo was making moves. Mecca was making moves. What's Brayden going to do? Alright, is he going to stay loyal to Tariq? How is Tariq going to react to everything that's happened this week? It's so much going on. But it's been good television. It's been very, very entertaining. Of course, Big Rich Town is probably one of the best teams on television. We'll see what happens next week. Attack on Titan. I've been waiting for this one. Alright? It's spoiler alert if you didn't know. As we're talking about these TV shows, I'm sorry I didn't say it before Power, but listen. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched Attack on Titan for whatever reason. Spoilers. Big spoilers. 3, 2, 1 for you to skip ahead. Uno reverse. I've been waiting on this one. Zeke and Eren in the past going through their father's memories. And Zeke, he's trying to heal his brother. He's trying to explain to dear old Eren that he's being manipulated. It's not his fault. You've been manipulated by your father into doing and becoming what you have. That's why you betrayed me. But Eren Yeager is Eren Yeager. He's Eren Yeager. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Uno reverse. Alright, Uno reversed his own brother in the past and basically said, I've just been playing around this whole time. I really didn't need you. I just needed you to, do this for me. Appreciate you. You're being used. You thought I was being manipulated, but it turns out I manipulated our father. Eren has surpassed the hero villain. All right, he's both simultaneously the hero and the villain. He's bigger than that. All right, he's just the protagonist. That's the best way you can describe him, because he's the puppet master. He's been pulling all the strings in this show, and nothing more else needs to be said, man. Eren is just ridiculous. And then the fear. Shout out to Mappa because they shot this beautifully. The fear they were able to show his father having at his son was just great. Was just fantastic. Also the little things like Eren stopping when certain events happen. We were kind of just rewatching season 1, but Eren stopping for like Mikasa, showing that maybe those feelings aren't completely and utterly gone. But yeah, just it was what a show. What a show Attack on Titan is, man. Eren with just the ultimate Uno reverse. And yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see how Zeke. We'll see if he can complete his father's wishes of stopping Eren. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, especially with Eren able to see in the future. But we'll see what happens there. Euphoria is continually. It continues to be a madhouse. All right, another mad episode of that show. Cassie down horrendous. Cal just let it all out. Came out to his fan. I mean, he just let it all out. He just let it all out. Let it all be known. Spoke his truth. You know, truly spoke his truth. At the end, that was a completely wild scene. I know everybody's been on Sam Levinson about certain character decisions, but it's been great. Honestly, everything's been justified. Rules. Rue, Jules, and Elliot, and whatever you want to call what's happening there is just it's something. It's something. All right, it's something. I don't know what to call it personally, but it's something. We go see what happens. Elliot, it seems like it kind of seems like he's playing almost like an Eren role, like he's pulling the strings a little bit. I do like that he was truthful though to Jules before proceeding with that any further and making the right decision there. But yeah, it seems like he's having a slice of both cakes right now. And we're going to see what happens there. Of course, we saw that preview. It looks like Rue is down bad. Everybody in that show is down bad, all right? Nate sounded like he was making sense. Maddie is a lunatic. Kat is still having problems, all right? It's just everybody is down bad on that show. Everybody is down bad on that show. Except for Fez and Lexi and Ashtray. They continue to be the holy trinity of that show. But yeah, otherwise, everybody else down horrendous. Now let's head over to the NFL. And ladies and gentlemen, another great week. Another great week. It's just been pure great football. It's been a fantastic playoffs. Really, depending on the Super Bowl, an all-time playoffs. You could dare say it's been an all-time playoffs already. All right, just the Super Bowl, however it goes, is going to just put the cherry on top. Because it's been a fantastic playoffs. And we continued our streak of walk-offs, all right? We hit 5 straight games of walk-offs because, ladies and gentlemen, I opened this show by saying I was Nostradamus and that I told you so, and that if you check my story, specifically the IG story, or if you check my Twitter, you would know. You would know. If you watch these shows, you watch these episodes, you've watched the NFL segment for the past couple weeks, you would know, right? I went back on episode 76 and I said that if any team was going to be able to knock off any team or cause some chaos, it was the Cincinnati Bengals. I said that they were my dark horse. And that horse galloped through the wild card. It galloped through the divisional. And it is now galloped after a 27-24, another Evan McPherson game winner. Galloped its way into the Super Bowl ahead of schedule. Joe Chill, Joe Burr, Joe Brr, Joe Shiesty, Joe Cool, Joey Franchise, the King in the North, whatever you want to call him, he's done it, all right? We were talking about generational quarterbacks recently, right? Maybe he's the generational quarterback. Of course, we have Brady possibly retiring or not. I'm going to hold off on speaking on about that until we find out for sure whether Tommy B is actually going. But if he's going, it seems like there might be a guy on some team in Ohio that might be picking up that torch if he keeps going at this rate. Joe Burrow. I think he's, the 8th quarterback all time to ever go to the Super Bowl in their second year. First ever number 1 overall pick to do it, at least at quarterback. Russell Maryland was the first. Joey B, listen, 23 for 38, 250, 2 touchdowns for Burrow. And that doesn't include, even though he didn't have a lot of rushing yards, when it matters. I mean, that scramble, that rollout against Chris Jones to keep the game alive was just, that's a franchise quarterback move. That is a superstar moment. right? To get that first down, rolls out, avoids Chris Jones, one of the best interior defenders in the league, evades him twice. Then scampers for the 10. That is such a memorable moment for me. And then just the way he leads and controls his team. I knew when he pulled up with the fit, all right? I knew when I saw Burrow pull up with this fit, it was over. It was wraps. It was done. Bengals winning. I texted it to my friends. I was like, hey, I think Cincy might pull this off. All right? He's that dude. He is that dude. We're going to talk about somebody that's not that dude in the next game. But Burrow is absolutely, most definitely that dude. All right? Mixon had 88 yards, solid game for him. Jamar Chase didn't even go crazy, right? He had a touchdown, got in the box, as Chase does. But T. Higgins led him in receiving, 6 receptions, 103. When it mattered and they needed a catch, Higgins was able to get it. Really should have had a touchdown earlier in that first quarter on that first possession, but they missed the PI, but I digress. But Cincinnati, that defense, the way they adjusted in that second half was phenomenal. Went down 21-3, and they didn't flinch. They didn't falter. They didn't fold. They fought back, and they got it done, got the win, and they're going to the Super Bowl. I said last week that I wasn't sure. I didn't think that it was their time yet. That's where I was wrong. Because apparently it is. It is their time. We're going to see if they can pull it off, of course, in 2 weeks. But for the AFC Championship, they got it done. Picked off Money Mahomes twice because Mahomes was Money Mahomes. He was on the money in that first half. He was fantastic. But, oh dear God, the man had a 0 quarterback rating in that second half. Everything that could go wrong for Mahomes and the Chiefs in that second half went wrong. The way they finished that second half just seemed to leave a bitter taste. And in football, you have to let that go. You have to have short-term memory. You have to be able to let go of what happens before. Mistakes happen, things happen that don't necessarily go your way. It's how it goes. That's just the name of the game. You got to be able to let that go. They were not able to let that go. The Chiefs weren't able to let that go, and it lingered. Drop passes, and it cost them. And ultimately, it cost them, in my opinion, and they paid the price. Jerick McKinnon tried. He put in a solid effort receiving and rushing. Didn't look bad, kind of filling in for CEH, even though CEH played in this game, but McKinnon kind of taking a more prominent role here in the playoffs. He wasn't bad, but once again, Bengals shut him down in the second half. Kelsey, 10 receptions, 95 yards, and a touchdown. You can't ask for more from Kelsey. He looked like the best tight end in the game. Tyreek Hill, 7 receptions, 78 yards, and a touchdown. The problem is that was all in the first half. Tyreek Hill was non-existent in the second half. I don't know how you go from dominating the first half to non-existent in the second half, but the Chiefs gotta answer some questions. They have some questions that need to be answered in the offseason. Because not that you need to blow this, completely into smithereens and it's time to blow the team up, but changes need to happen. Because it's 2 years in a row where you've made it to the big game, or you've made it to a big game, right? Made it to the Super Bowl last year versus the Bucks, got beat, weren't able to answer the bell. And the Bengals here came off hot, looked like you were going to the Super Bowl for a third straight year, didn't answer the bell in the second half. You got to figure out how to make whatever adjustments, right? Mahomes also, for all the talent, for all the praise we sing of Patrick Mahomes, has to fix some stuff, all right? You can't look that great and be that comfortable improvising like you did in that first half. I mean, it was ridiculous, right? He's honestly a better quarterback when he's having to, make something up than when he's just sitting back comfortable in the pocket. You got to be able to make something happen when you're comfortable in the pocket and go through those reads and make the right choice. There were some very questionable decisions from Mahomes, and it's something we've seen since that MVP year. We've seen him not necessarily have that same magic that we always talk about. It seems to have worn off a little bit. So the Chiefs have some questions to answer, but the Bengals way ahead of schedule. I mean way ahead of schedule. I wish y'all all the best in the Super Bowl because it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy because the Super Bowl is going to be a home game. Of course, it's in LA, and that should tell you that the LA Rams were able to get it done in another one-possession, 3-point game here in the playoffs. Not a game winner, but Matt Gay gets to go ahead with 146, and they win 20-17. Jimmy Garoppolo, I said Burrow was that guy. Jimmy G is the opposite, all right? He's not that guy. He's not that guy. And it's what we've said. It's why y'all drafted Trey Lance, right? He's not that guy. When it was time to win the game, right? When it was winning time, he wasn't the guy. It's nothing we didn't know. It's just it's fully out there now, right? The truth has been revealed. Jimmy G is not that guy. He's not a championship winning quarterback. He almost got you there, but when it mattered and y'all had to put the ball in his hands to win the game, he couldn't win the game. He threw a pick on really a poor decision. I get, you don't want to take the sack there or whatever, but you got to do better than that play. Just throw the ball away earlier or whatever. If you couldn't find it, don't do what you did. All right, and that was after y'all took a 17-7 lead going into the fourth quarter. Deebo Samuel playing out of his mind throughout this entire playoffs, emerges as a superstar. Everybody loves Deebo. Of course, he had that emotional moment. He was very, very emotional after this game. And who wouldn't be? After you put the team on your back the way that Deebo Samuel did in this playoff run, he deserves all the credit. 28 yards rushing. 72 yards receiving in this game, including the 44-yarder. He was great. Can't ask for anything more. Nick Bosa was great. One of the best defensive players in the league. 1.5 sacks, 6 tackles for baby Bosa. He did his job. He held it down, right? It was all good. It was all good for the 49ers on that front. But the Rams, we even said it. We said it on paper, right? Rams are a better team. They should. But for whatever reason this season, they got swept. They got swept by the 49ers in the regular season. But if Stafford could limit the turnovers and they could shut down Deebo Samuel, they'd be all right. They'd be all right. For the first 3 quarters of this game, they struggled with those 2 things. But when it mattered, Stafford was able to make the right plays. He was able to limit his turnovers. And the Rams did everything they could to stop Deebo Samuel from taking over this game. And that is why the Rams were able to prevail. Stafford, 31 for 45, 337 and 2 touchdowns. Congrats to Stafford, right? Even Lions fans, I know it's got to be tough, but I'm sure y'all are happy for your boy, greatest quarterback y'all ever had. I've seen a lot of them supporting the Rams now. But, Stafford finally going to a Super Bowl in year 13. Cooper Kupp. At what point do we just call him the best receiver in the league? Him and Stafford's chemistry is undeniable. 11 receptions, 142 and 2 touchdowns. Another dominant game for Kupp. But he wasn't the only Rams receiver to be dominant because OBJ is headed to a Super Bowl. And he's looking like OBJ of old, man. It's like he's back. He's back in the right environment, the environment he needed to be in, and he's flourishing. 9 receptions, 113 for OBJ. I hope he resigns with the Rams because I think that's the place for him with Stafford. They need to keep that with Kupp. Just keep that together and roll with that. They were great, and I mean great in this game. Aaron Donald did Aaron Donald things, right? Even though he didn't have a sack in this game, he was disruptive. Von Miller, disruptive. We talked about all the moves that this Rams team made, right? We talked about them. They're almost a dream team, right? In a sense, right? Almost a super team. I won't call them a super team, but they sold out. They sold out for in the way that the Bengals kind of drafted their way to a Super Bowl. The Rams sold out. They made the necessary moves and built their core through free agency and trades. Sold out through the draft, right? Didn't make a lot of draft picks. Made the necessary moves to get them in a position to win a Super Bowl, right? The Bengals did the opposite. But for the Rams, it paid off. And it's especially paid off on this defense. Eric Weddle, who they picked up right before the playoffs, led them in tackles in this game. I already said Donald. Donald really helped cause that interception to help seal the game against Garoppolo. Von Miller was causing havoc. It was a team effort. Jalen Ramsey's been great. A team effort. A team effort on that defense and a dominant performance, especially in that second half, for that Rams defense to really shut the door, make sure that, hey, we're going to put ourselves in a position to, help get us, to win this NFC Championship and get us in the Super Bowl with a chance to make history and avenge, some demons that we need to exercise from a couple years ago. So, congrats to LA. Y'all get a home game for the Super Bowl, even though you are the away team. What's going to be interesting, I guess, to see how the locker room and kind of how that fits. But Bengals, Rams, Super Bowl, we'll talk about that next week and do the whole Super Bowl preview. I might even bring back At the Buzzer for that, so we can get our Super Bowl predictions, right? I might do that for y'all, right? We might bring back At the Buzzer. I've been thinking about it, especially with less and less subjects and me having more time to record this. ATB might be back very, very soon. I know a lot of you would probably be very, very excited about that, kind of getting y'all's input back on the show. But congrats to the Rams. They move on. Bengals, y'all move on. We'll see what happens in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the Roundup, and that's headlined by the Aussie Open, as Rafael Nadal has made history, the first man to 21 major victories. He takes down Daniil Medvedev in, what was that, 5 sets. After Rafa took a commanding 2-set lead, Daniil fought back, took the next 2, and then they went back and forth. It was a marathon game. I think it was like a 5-hour match. And Rafa got it done. He got it done. 21, most all time. You know, even as a Fed fan, it hurts to see his record broken. Hurts to see somebody, you know, finally get to that, you know, before him. Yeah, Rafa, one of the all-time greats, arguably the GOAT. I think honestly tennis is kind of at the standpoint where it's like a 3-headed monster in terms of greatest of all time. I think Federer has a very, very, very strong argument to be the GOAT. Nadal has a very, very strong argument, and so does Djokovic. So I think you could really call any 3 of them. I don't think there's any one of them that necessarily is the greatest of all time. I think they're all kind of in that kind of area. Nadal, of course, good to see him win like another different type of major, kind of fill in the rest of those blanks. Not that it's a bad thing that he's won the French Open 13 times, right? Which is more than most people have even won majors, all right? But he's the king of the clay for a reason, right? But yeah, it's nice to see him kind of fill in that trophy cabinet and get those up. He's already got the career slam, but kind of fill in that Australian, that, you know, maybe Wimbledon and U.S. Open here as we go. Because as we know, Fed and Djokovic have a little bit more of a spread out, and Nadal's kind of got that one, which I guess is the big argument against him being the GOAT. But it's undeniable, man. 21 major victories, unbelievable. Shout out to Rafa, one of the all-time greats. Trevor Zegras, we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about my boy. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite hockey players. We haven't talked about the NHL much. Gonna as the NFL concludes, we'll be talking about more of the NHL, don't you worry. Zegras, of course, up there with Mort Snyder for Rookie of the Year. He's just been a joy to watch. He's been a joy to watch for that Ducks team. And this week, pulled off the Michigan. Of course, we had that insane assist from behind the net earlier this year. And then with one of the smoothest against Montreal, one of the smoothest Michigan goals you will ever see. He's been magical, looking like he's going to be that next great American player. We'll see if it happens, but very, very impressive stuff from Z. We'll see if he can get that Rookie of the Year at the end of the season. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, that was the last episode at age 20 and the last episode of January. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's been fun. It's been fun. It's kind of weird, you know, hitting 21. We started this thing when I was, 19? So 2 years in almost. 2 years in almost at the end of this year. But yeah, it's been fun. Appreciate all the love and support recently. And yeah, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoyed episode 78. We'll see you next week for a Super Bowl preview and the UFC, UFC 271 preview. But for now, Ocho, signing off.